Okay, guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Wrestle Slam, the podcast brought to you by the Baco Casino, Cork City. And it is the one and only Phil Connolly on co-hosting duties with me today as we talk all things wrestling and headlines for the next 15 to 20 minutes. Matt Murphy is away at the moment, guys. He will be back next week, I believe. And yet again, next week will be recorded on a bank holiday on Monday. So we're looking forward to that as well. But we're going to talk all things wrestling. We're going to talk, I suppose, double or nothing. Also, some TNA news via NXT. Trick Williams is the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. He's defeated Joe Hendry. And that's made the headlines pretty much. Obviously, Battleground, Phil. It was unique. A lot of people talking about that. But Trick Williams, the new TNA champion. What's your thoughts on that, my man? What does it mean for Joe Hendry? What does it mean for Trick Williams?
I think Joe Hendry needed a change. I think this title reign wasn't working.
Yeah.
But I am very shocked that WWE have gained Trick Williams to demand to defeat him. I think the partnership was going okay. It's just weird that a WWE guy is now TNA World Champion in the year 2025. It's kind of like, if you look back, TNA now are like 20, 23, 24 years old. To say something like that is just crazy. It would mind boggle if you said that to me 10 years ago even.
Yeah.
This is a possibility this could happen.
Yeah, 10 years ago we were saying so much crazy shit. And
well, it's all changed under the leadership of Triple H, and Vince McMahon would never allow anything like this.
Do you still think it's good that we see this, or do you think do you prefer the old way?
It's an interesting topic, because we were talking about the other day, my brother. We were on about, does it take away the mystique? I think it does a little bit. Yeah. But until, I suppose, if it starts hitting Raw and SmackDown, then I'm thinking this is kind of it's not something I want to see. I don't think in the main. Like, I've nothing against anyone TNA. I watch it every week. I love TNA, but I wouldn't like to see Joe Hendry versus, say, Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
You know, just for a one-off match that means absolutely nothing, with no feud and he's just going to be on it next week and he's fighting Drew.
Yeah, like an old Scottish battle at Clash at the Castle of Scotland or something. I get it.
Like that, and then no feud and no build, and it's just like, oh, this is a dream. I just like that. That's a big problem I have at wrestling at the moment. That there's no build to the matches, and the matches are just matches.
No, obviously, look, it's good for the wrestlers. They have a lot more time off. You know, there's a bit more availability. They can obviously do a bit more, but it's interesting. It's interesting, and I suppose it remains to be seen what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. But there was obviously, there was a couple of matches on that, right? There's one match I want to mention. Obviously, it was obviously Stephanie Vagger defeated Jordynne Grace. Are they making Jordynne Grace look weak? Because she's so dominant, like, and we thought she was going to go on to huge things, but
no, go on.
Do you think like it's they've kind of dropped the ball already with her, like, because she was so dominant with the Royal Rumble appearances and stuff? Now it's like she's losing matches.
Yeah, this is actually going back to what we ran about the old ways. This is what Vince McMahon used to do.
Yeah,
it's almost
squash.
It's almost like you were big on this route. We're going to humble you a little bit before we bring you back up.
Yeah.
So I expect this to continue until next year, I think. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Jordynne Grace is on the main roster after WrestleMania. It's an interesting one, because they just announced Evolution 2 as well for women.
Yeah, I've seen that, which is great news, groundbreaking news. You know, it's something that we can predict might bring back some old faces yet again. Yeah,
well, I think do you want to see old faces? Like, I think we're kind of moving past. I think we're moving past that. Bring in Kelly, Tori Wilson. I don't know.
I'd make an exception though for AJ Lee.
Yeah, well, that's a whole different story, but yeah.
I think that's something that could happen.
Like, Ronda Rousey could come back.
Yeah, you wonder what Ronda's up to. Obviously, look, she's training away. She's obviously a mother now to two young kids. She has plenty of money in the bank. She's her family life looks incredible. She's really kind of settled and she's doing her thing. But is she tempted to come back? Will they want her back? Obviously, things have changed. Like I
There was a
believe,
story last week about her, right?
yeah, yeah. What was that? Was it just coming back, or was it more to do other
WWE
stuff?
were interested in bringing her back.
Well, she probably left because of Vince, maybe.
Well, there was a lot of that, and also as well, she did want to have a child as well. I think at the time.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think she is worthy to come back? Did you? I was there. I seen her debut at WrestleMania when she teamed with Kurt Angle. I thought this is brilliant. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I'm all for it. But has her stock dropped, or is it still there? Do you think?
it all depends how she comes back. Like if she just comes back and just stands on the apron and just points and looks at people, it's kind of like okay. Um,
Yeah. And she did change her look as well. Like I think her first look was better than the look she had towards the end, where she had like she just looked more animated. Like.
yeah, and she's also a lot leaner these days. She doesn't have the muscle mass.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of Ronda. I'm not gonna lie. I think I'd love to see Ronda back. And I suppose we might get that as well. I suppose look, if the money's right, if she can get some sort of a deal where she can do maybe 7, 8 appearances a year. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? That kind of
that's
thing.
it
Big
exactly.
appearances.
And that, to be fair, like that's all it needs to be.
Yeah, she doesn't need to be on like this run.
No,
Do you know what I
like
mean?
I think gone are the days of every single week you need to be the focus. I think with the way the wrestling world is going, and you see it with John Cena, he's probably on it once or twice a month.
Yeah, and it works perfect. It
Yeah,
does work perfect. It
yeah.
really does.
It's similar to that, I'm assuming. But like, I think if she's going to come back, she'll come back at that show. Uh,
Yeah, and that's they give the date for that. Yeah, Phil. Is it
early
obviously before the
July.
end there?
Early
Yeah,
July.
yeah. I still haven't
The
watched that. I
same.
still
It's
haven't watched
weird
that.
because I think it's the same. Is it the same weekend as Saturday Night Main Event as well?
Yeah, it is.
And I
So they're
think
going
in
to
All
have
Elite have a show as well the same weekend. So it's
massive, massive
yeah. Well, I don't know.
weekend.
I don't know how I feel about that. All Elite WWE on the same times happened again this weekend. I don't know how I feel about that.
Matt Murphy will have to have two TVs on a left and a right. You know what I mean? To be class. Be
Yeah,
class.
I mean, like the way wrestling is going now, they're almost pushing us away with all these shows. There's too much.
Yeah, there
Like
is. There
SummerSlam
is.
2 nights. Like Royal Rumble will probably be 2 nights at some point.
It's definitely going to be tonight's at some point. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
so it's just all about trying to manage. Even there now this weekend, like just gone, there was so much on. Saturday night's main event. There was a TNA show. There was All Elite, and it was just like, and there was a two. There was actually two TNA shows on this weekend.
Yeah, there was so much on. And look, I suppose you'll always have them months where it's a jam-packed month, and then other months then it's like there's not much happening. But I think they're going to try, and obviously Mania is a big week, but I think
Yeah,
they're going to try and introduce it in a big week. You know what I mean? Where you have like yet again WWE will be
I think
there all day.
SummerSlam is where you do that. I think so anyway.
Yeah, they'll put on all the
Weather's
shows.
good and there's people going to be around. I think it's the only real time really. I don't think people would like to be wandering around with cold and rain.
No, no, definitely not, definitely not. So I'd say SummerSlam there'll be a couple of more announcements. So yet again, obviously we mentioned Trick Williams defeated
Yeah,
Joe Hendry to win the TNA World Championship. NXT champion Oba Femi defeated Miles Bourne. He's a force to be reckoned with.
he
But
is
obviously,
unbelievable. I'm a firm believer that this guy is going to main event WrestleMania.
yeah, you said that a while back as well,
Yeah,
and we kept that in the highlight reel. That's there. We'll drag that out
yeah,
of the archive when it comes to it. But you're normally right with them predictions.
yeah,
He's a specimen and a half, isn't he?
yeah. He's unreal. And again, Miles Bourne got a bit of offense, but like there's no doubt who was going to win this one.
Agree, agree. Stacks defeated Tony Angelo, and we had NXT champions Hank and Tank and Josh Briggs defeated the Gullen in a six-man tag team match. And we also had NXT North American champion Sol Ruka. She
Yeah.
defeated Kalini Jordan. So that was pretty much the results there on that one.
I mean, it was probably the thing is like that was a good show, but it was
Yeah.
probably the worst show of of the shows I've seen anyway.
Yeah, no.
I haven't seen the second TNA show yet because there's just so much on. But I think from what I've seen, it was really good, but it was just like the poorest of them, and it's mad because it was good.
Yeah, no, it was
And then you had TNA and on Friday night,
mm,
which was pretty good actually. Um, Same kind of thing. You have the card there. We'll run through the card quickly.
the teenage cats, eh?
Yeah, just TNA there from Friday night.
Yeah, what's it tonight? Just bear with me.
Just go through it quickly because TNA are on the rise. I think they're unbelievably good again. I think they were poor for a while, but seems to be picking back up again.
Just bear with me now one sec, guys. Just make sure I have the results up.
Under siege.
Yeah, I have it down on one sec. Yeah, just wanted to make
Yeah, no, it's
sure.
pretty good. Like it's probably my second favorite show of the weekend. It was pretty good.
So yeah, May 23rd, obviously. Right, obviously I'm not going to go through the storyline, so let me get up all the results just to be accurate. So yet again, there was many matches. Rosemary defeated Zaya Brookside. Mike Santana defeated Casey Navarro.
Yeah.
AJ Francis was there with him. Eddie Edwards defeated Cody Deaner. The Northern Amory, Eric Young, Judas Lagrudas, and Travis Williams defeated the System. Ash by Elegance and Heather by Elegance. They defeated Spitfire, Danny Luna, and Jody Trett. Order 4, they defeated Raj Saya, Indy Hartwell, the Rascals. That was a decent one.
Yeah.
Tessa Blanchard defeated Ariana Grace by pinfall. Masha Stamovic defeated Victoria Crawford. The Nemeth brothers, Nick Nemeth and Ryan Nemeth, they've defeated Matt Hardy and Leon Slater. And then obviously Joe Hendry and Loya defeated Trick Williams and Frankie Kazarian. Just speaking of the Nemeth brothers, guys, they're on with us tomorrow. So we'll have Nick Nemeth and Ryan Nemeth on with us tomorrow for an exclusive interview. So that will be up on the YouTube channel on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. Probably going to get it straight out Tuesday night after our show at 8 o'clock. But yeah, some decent matches, and look, a big card, Phil. They're obviously getting all the roster.
Yeah, it's on the way up again. Now at the moment. So Santino Morella now is getting back in the ring. Which is quite interesting. I actually really like Santino.
He's in good shape as well. Like he looks
Yeah.
after himself.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely on the it's definitely on the way up because it was a real slump there for a few weeks.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and people are now talking again because obviously Trick Williams is the new TNA World Champion.
yeah.
Be interested to see where it goes.
It'll be very interesting, but I think it is an incredible roster. You mentioned that roster; it is incredible. Like it really is a good roster. And they're, do you know what I mean? They're doing great stuff. Like you know what I mean? Great
Yeah, and
stuff with the
then
roster.
obviously then Myla Grace signed last week.
Myla Grace and
Hudson.
yeah,
Yeah,
Harley Hudson.
Harley
Yeah.
Hudson. Yeah.
She's a Scouser. Yeah.
Yeah. So the two of them were actually in the crowd at the show, which is they look $1 million.
Yeah, Harley and Moila, like we know Moila quite well. We've had her with us in Cork at RCW. Great
Yeah.
talent, NXT star, just good bubbly girl. And then obviously Harley then is she's a talent, very strong. These two girls are actually very similar, if you get me. Same kind of build, in-ring ability is incredible. So I'm looking forward out to see what they do with them. Are they going to team them together, or are they just going to go on a singles run?
It looks like they're going to team up together.
Yeah.
It looks like it.
Yeah, no, I'm delighted for both, and we predicted it. We when we had her in the path, Myla Grace, we said,
Yeah.
look, are you open to that move to America? And she was, and look what's happened.
Just
Did you see?
was
Yeah,
that go on?
sorry.
No, go on.
Just LJ. Did you see LJ Clary as well?
Yeah.
NWA.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah, listen.
And delighted for him because I know he got his visa sorted recently, so he's all that.
How could you not give that man a visa? LJ Clary goes to America. I would not be surprised if Donald Trump is there waiting to shake the man's hand. He is incredible, one of the nicest guys you can meet. And look, He's the definition of working hard. He's
Yeah.
put in so many hours, days, weeks, months, years of hard work and dedication. It's great news to see that things are starting to come alight now for LJ in America. And did you see that picture with him and CM Punk as well?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, he's learning a bit more from one of the icons, CM Punk. But I reckon LJ is going to have a very busy year in America. I reckon we'll obviously get him home to Ireland quite a bit for some major shows. But I think we're starting to see now the rise of LJ Clary in
Yeah, I think in the
America.
next 18 months he's going to be locked down to a contract.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this, and I generally mean it. I think first of all he's gonna do so much on the indie scene for the next couple of weeks, couple of months.
Yeah.
But I reckon yet again he will be locked down, and I see it being WWE. I think NXT, it's happening.
Yeah. I'd love to see a World X Cup start in TNA and he could be Team Ireland.
Yeah, well that's another thing too. Like Mila's the first Irish girl now to sign for TNA. Will LJ be the first male to do it?
Yeah. Like there's
But
no
it's
harm in it doing a year with TNA to get your name out there.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think, look, that connection now with TNA and WWE is important. And LJ, if he's doing stuff at TNA and he rises up that roster fast, which I'd expect, then obviously then the door opens for him to do something then with WWE. But
Yeah.
exciting times, and we're proud of him, the former RCW champion, and one of our favorites on the show. And LJ has always been great to us over the years, and we've been lucky enough to see his first match. And some of his first visits to Cork many years ago. I think 2016, 2015 was the year. But
Yeah.
congratulations, LJ. So that's about it, Phil. I think we've kind of wrapped up. Any headlines you want to get through quickly before we wrap
I
up?
just kind of wanted to quickly just talk about All Elite Wrestling because that was a good weekend. The rest of
Yeah,
their pay-per-view. We've a new number one contender, Will Ospreay versus Hangman Page. I actually thought Will Ospreay would be the one
yeah,
would have picked up the victory, but Hangman Page versus John Moxley at the next pay-per-view.
yeah.
Uh,
Seen that.
all in, yeah. So let's hope, like, for AEW's sake, and I love John Moxley to death, I just think this is not working. Time to change. Hopefully Hangman Page is the man that'll dethrone. I think the Moxley stuff on AEW is holding a lot of stuff back.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it?
I know we don't really watch it as much. We're kind of in and out with it and kind of just looking around it.
Yeah, I have to be honest, Phil, and I'm not going to lie. And I shouldn't even say this. Now, I obviously check the highlights. I'd always go on Instagram and look at the highlights. But I've only sat down and watched maybe two or three full All Elite shows, and that's when I've been in a hotel and it's been on the channel. Like, when you're in the hotel room and it comes on maybe 10 o'clock at night. You're watching a
Yeah.
rewind. And I regret it. I wish I had the time, but I just find this day and age, I'm watching highlights. I'm going on YouTube, I'm going on Instagram, and I'm getting the shortcut to the end of the match, or whatever
But
happened.
yeah, it's not even that. It's just more. All it needs is it's just there's nothing there to go looking for.
Yeah,
Like if
yeah, no,
you
it's
really were like, oh, this is brilliant, you'd go your way to find whatever like clips and matches and you know what I mean. Like
mm,
last night, now was again they delivered on pay per view because I've talked about this before. They deliver on pay per view every single time. But when
yeah,
it
they
comes to
do.
weekly shows, the weekly shows are just on hard to watch. Uh, Nothing happens, and just in this day and age, with everything that you have, that you can switch channels and you can watch whatever. I don't think someone wants to watch 90s style wrestling where, say, John Moxley's fighting Allen's whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
no one wants to watch that because no one cares. At the end of the day,
yeah,
there's no point in beating around the bushes. Like I don't care if John Moxley's fighting because there's no build and it's just a match.
yeah. I know what
You
you
know what I
mean. I
mean?
know what you mean.
Like I don't want to watch. That's big. We've talked about earlier. I don't like wrestling where there's no storyline and there's no. It's just matches. Uh,
Yeah,
because like just before we go, there is a small bit of stuff and this is a good leeway into it. WWE brought back Wyatt Sicks on
which
SmackDown.
is good. Yeah, were you shocked, or were you? It looks like they're gonna finally pull the trigger now, maybe.
I hope so, but like it's been a hard week for wrestling because its own hearts. it's 26 years since Owen Hart died 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And it's also Bray Wyatt's birthday on the same day. And
Mm.
that's the day that they brought back the Wyatt Sicks
Yeah.
on Bray's
Yeah.
birthday. So I hope that they find their feet, but from what they did with him back last year, I I don't think Triple H knows how to fix him.
I think he's always been that way. I think even with Bray himself when he was alive, and I think Triple H never kind of was able to
But
grab the horns and say, right, you're incredible at what you do, but I just don't know how to manage it. Like,
but why not just get somebody like say Raven, right? Raven is very good. He's got a creative mind, but like and he'd be out there with stuff. But why not
yeah,
bring in
yeah,
someone like him to micromanage just them?
I agree. That's a good show, actually. I agree.
Yeah, somebody like me. It doesn't have to be Raven, no, but like it could be Abyss or it could be somebody like that's just creative and thinking outside the box because like nobody wants to see these Wyatt Six just attack people every week.
Yeah, no, I know.
And then the last thing I wanted to talk about because we have 2 minutes is
Yeah,
Saturday night's main event. Just quickly. Um,
yeah,
so basically, do you hear Jesse Ventura commentary?
yeah. I'm glad he's back. I know people say things. But do you know what I mean? I'm glad he's kind of
Yeah, it
involved.
was
At
brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think he still
Mac,
has it, Phil?
I think for those one all like 3 or 4 shows a year, yeah. I think
Yeah,
if that was every week, I think people wouldn't gravitate to it. But I think because it's like 3 or 4 shows a year, I think there's a little bit of nostalgia and a bit of fun to it.
yeah,
I
yeah. No,
love
I
his
agree.
you can't go out the cage a door. You can't go out the door of a cage to win a cage match. It's all
True.
brilliant. No, but McIntyre's actually taking time off. That's why he lost.
Yeah, yeah. There's
Uh,
no
Ar-
injury, so no.
no, he's casting some. I think it's a film.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's been casting something big. Um, so yeah, so McIntyre losing was not surprising, but the way it was done was a bit weird. Just
Yeah.
walking out of the cage, and then you had Ron Cena, which I thought was comedy gold. I thought that
Yeah,
was
I seen
brilliant. I thought that was
that.
brilliant. Um, but the match itself wasn't too good.
Yeah.
John Cena is incensed in doing these really weird low blows, hitting people with belts, really
Hmm.
weird endings, uh, to try and get heel heat.
Yeah, there's a theory behind it, as you say, like,
Yeah, but it just comes across as very, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm watching wrestling so long, I just be like, this is weak.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
when
It's
you
kind
watch
of,
Cena matches, you see him, oh, he's low blowed him, and then he pins him, it's over.
hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's mad. It's a bit predictable at times, but um,
I
yeah, I
suppose
suppose,
yeah. No, the last thing then was Logan Paul versus Jey Uso, which was kind of went as we kind of knew it would with him retaining the belt.
yeah,
And then Cody Rhodes returned. And actually, Cody Rhodes looked jacked.
he did. He's been hitting the gym that bit more, I'd say.
Yeah, so they've set up that tag match for Money in the Bank, which again is Jey Uso going to go down as one of the worst champions of all time?
Mm. I don't know. Yeah, I think not to us, but to like the typical dickhead of a fan. Yes, the people that riot, we riot, and we were watching it the last 10 years, and they just want to
Yeah,
be controversial. No, I think they done the right thing. I think look, I'm delighted he became champion, but people will say stupid shit like that. I suppose, but the fans will always be kind of like, oh, Jey Uso this and that, and
yeah.
Gunter, the way they squashed Gunter and he made him look weak. I don't know. I don't know. I
But the
think
thing is,
Gunter and Goldberg is going to happen, but like, I think Uso does lose the belt soon. I think he loses it at SummerSlam.
yeah, he's fighting Gunter in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, I think he
Uh,
loses it at SummerSlam. I think that's when he will lose it. I think.
yeah, like they set up that tag match for Money in the Bank, which again is going to be here before we know it as well. Money in the Bank.
Mm.
So
Is
they
that
set up that
Toronto?
tag
Yeah.
match. Huh?
Is that Toronto this year?
LA.
LA.
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah. Oh, there was one thing I forgot to mention actually. as well. I want to bring up
Yeah.
very quickly. They moved WrestleMania from New Orleans.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say that at the start, yeah. So
Yeah,
it's going to be Las
I just
Vegas.
completely slipped my mind until I said LA there. I thought it was okay. I'm thinking of WrestleMania.
Mm. And it's obviously Las Vegas again.
It looks very, very like it, but I'm not on board with Las Vegas every year if it's just for money. Like I don't like
Well,
that idea at all.
they must have made so much money though, Phil, there from the last one.
Oh, it's
Like,
unbelievable. They've made unbelievable money, but the problem is, like, it's just going to become the same kind of crowd, and it's just going to be like we were watching it, and we were like, this crowd's very flat. Like,
yeah. But I would, given if they announced Las Vegas again, I might be tempted to go for that one because it's not going to be. People have done it this year, and now next year is a different year. So
yeah,
it's kind of
I know
like
what you mean.
the buzz is there, but it's not going to be as hectic as last year, like what this year I should say. You know.
Yeah, it's a weird one, though. I don't know how I feel about it. I just think, would you like to see another 5 years in a row being at Vegas?
Do you know, I just like to go out there. I wouldn't even give a fuck about being at Mania.
Yeah,
If I can get one show, if I can get either Mania night two or Raw on the Monday, and that was it, and I'd go out and do WrestleCon and soak up the actual atmosphere around Vegas, then I'd much prefer that than to be
yeah.
worried about getting tickets for the Saturday, the Sunday, the Monday. Give me one out of the three and give me Las Vegas for 4 or 5 days, and I'm a happy man. And you'll understand why, Phil,
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you're
no,
there.
I totally get it. I think we've all kind of had Vegas on our book. I've never been there. You have.
Yeah, it's just different gravy. You don't even need, like, when you're in Las Vegas and you're going to WrestleMania, you actually forget about WrestleMania because there's so much shit going on around you. Because
Yeah,
every inch there's something. You've got the Backstreet Boys there. You've got like Kevin James, Adam Sandler over there, and fucking some other place, and you have like Caesar's Palace. You'd get lost in Las Vegas. You know what I mean? So just to see
oh
one
yeah.
show is enough, and it's enough to go there and to do WrestleCon. For me, WrestleCon is the kiddie, man. And
Thing is, like, if you, it's going to the point now, like, where if you did actually go to WrestleMania, you'd probably just do night two.
well, yeah, they struggle to sell tickets for night one. They sell them, but they won't.
Like, I mean, the show is good, and I'm a big WrestleMania. I just think burnout. Like, you've been being inside that stadium for 8 hours each day.
It's different times, man. I miss the old shows, man. You know, like where um you watch
But
WrestleMania
yeah, the 4 hour
17,
shows, the 4
16.
hour shows were perfect.
Yeah, 3 4 hours for WrestleMania one night and then Raw next night. When we were kids, when we were 13, 12,
Yeah,
11, 14,
yeah.
they were the proper days, and that's what I loved. You know what I mean? Now it's so much shit going on,
And
and
what's the worst part is they're so long and they still feel very rushed.
they do. And look, I'm all for giving the fans the extra stuff for money and stuff. But like, let's be honest, I just love one night. And we had that. Lucky enough, we had the one night. Like, you know what I mean? We were the last one night, I think, weren't we?
Yeah, we were at 35. Yeah, WrestleMania 35.
Last one night. You know what I mean? 34. I think one night's loads, and you know what I mean. I'm all for that. But we'll see what happens. Who knows? The Three Amigos might be in Las Vegas next year. The flights are decent. They're normally 500 600 quid. We might work something out, but I wouldn't be worried if you said to me, "No, you and Matt are going to go to WrestleMania night one." I'd say, "I'll see you night two, lads." And if I can get a raw ticket, I'll be there. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
I'd be more into WrestleCon and seeing the wrestlers around the strip and getting interviews and shit like that. You know.
yeah.
So yeah, that's another episode wrapped up. We had a good little rant. I think we
I know. I like that stuff. Like, I like
yeah.
that kind of just go off the cuff and just go. Well, what's there? You know.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some valid points. But yet again, don't forget, guys, Nick Nemeth and Ryan Nemeth will be on with us tomorrow. And also, Matt will be back next week, Bank Holiday Monday, and we'll have some news on the way as well in due course. But yeah, from myself, Jerry Collin, from the one and only Phil Conley, we will catch you soon. Thank you for tuning our way as always. And stay tuned to WrestleSlam as always, guys. And hope you like our new logo. It's the same, but it's not the same. Updated, but looks the same. But it's different colors. Enjoy, guys. We'll see you in a bit.